And it's just, that nurturing process, following up, talking to the sellers, and, waiting for when they're ready to pull the trigger. And, I tell each and every one of them, I'm ready when you are. And if you have competitors, I'll match their offer if the numbers make sense.
Hello.
Hey, Elise, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? You look like you're in a fancy place.
I think that's Balboa Park.
I love your background is way better than mine right now. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited. Okay, so I kind of want to just dive in. Where are you located?
I'm in a city called, the city's name is Chula Vista, California. It's in San Diego County. It's about maybe close to 10 miles to the Mexican-California border.
Oh, wow. That is really close.
Yeah.
Awesome. You're in a very competitive market then.
Yes, extremely.
That's awesome. That means like I love it because you're showing that a lot of people are like, that's too competitive, but you got it done. So that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your real estate investing story. How did you get into the industry?
Well, it's crazy as you mentioned. I've been licensed as an agent since 2010. However, I kind of had one foot in that business and the other in I was on active duty in the U.S. Navy.
Oh,
And
thank you for your service.
oh, you're welcome. And it wasn't until the past year or two that I would say about 2 years ago that I found I kept hearing wholesaling come up and come up and come up. And I just decided, like, what is this about? What is wholesaling? And I just started going down the YouTube wormholes and and here I am. And I have a partner. We kind of do some hunting together, and I primarily just drive for dollars to find properties. And one of the cash buyers I was writing offers for on active listings, he mentioned DealMachine, and I said, what's that?" And this was July of last year, and it was a Saturday afternoon. And as soon as he told me about it, I downloaded the app, started the trial, and I was off and running from there. So because I had saw we went to preview a property that was a fixer, and I saw several more on that same street. One was a fire burn property, and I told him I had written it down. And he said, "Oh, you should probably look into using DealMachine." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's an app to help you find property." So I said, "Okay, I'll do that." And I did it, and here I am. So
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. You're like, oh, hey, I'll write this down. He's like, no, no, let me make your life easier here.
yes.
That's amazing. So, okay, before I dive into, because I'm writing down questions as I go and I hear things, but tell me about this deal. Is it one deal or is it multiple deals that you've done?
So far I've been in the running for multiple deals. Right now, I'm nurturing some leads that in order for them to sell, they either need some documents in order to execute the trust, like death, death certificates, things like that. One lady who wants to sell also she has a long-term Section 8 tenant, and they're kind of like family to her, and they've been living in the property for 20 years, but it really needs some help, some love, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. And she wants to sell. She just wants to give them an opportunity to find a new place to live. And I have a couple like that, actually. I met a lady driving for dollars, and she has two properties, both free and clear. One also has Section 8 tenants. So, and because of the pandemic, she wants to give opportunity to find a place to. So, but this deal, I found also driving for dollars. I skip traced the contact info or the owner's name. Unfortunately, the owner, the previous owner, had passed away. He was a Navy veteran. Also, he lived to 103, I think. His granddaughter told me,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah, I called her, I called the numbers that I got from the skip tracing, and I talked to a gentleman and he said, "Oh no, my sister is handling everything with that property." So I said, "Would you be comfortable giving me her number so that I can reach out to her?" And he said, "Yeah." And he gave it to me. As we hung up, I called her immediately. And she said, "Yes, I want to sell it." And I said, "Well, when can we meet so that I can preview the property and then, run my numbers and make an offer?" And I asked her if today was possible, and she said no. And she gave me a couple other days, and I ended up previewing the home on a Sunday morning at 7 a.m. before she flew out of the city. So,
Oh my gosh.
um, yeah,
Commitment. That is
yeah.
commitment. So what did you end up doing with that deal?
Well, right now it's being rehabbed. So I brought my cash buyer to it. He liked it. Um, it's a smaller home. It's a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, about 900 square feet. It has a large enough lot where you can build either an ADU or add on an additional room or bathroom, whatever the case. And so he's rehabbing it right now. And then once he's done with the rehab, I'll get the listing to sell it on the market.
Oh, hot dang.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. So did you just like sign it over to him? Did you get any type of fee, like finder's fee for it before, or are you just getting from what for listing it?
No, he gave me wholesalers or an assignment fee or a finder's fee. He kind of gave me that after we closed, and prior to closing, we agreed that he would give me the relist, which is, I've known him for about a year and a half. I feel comfortable and I trust him well enough that I don't need to sign a contract with him and hand over the deal. He'll make it happen and buy it, and then he'll give me the relist. So that's an agreement we came to when we first met. So
That's amazing. Do you mind me asking how much your assignment fee was for that?
it was about 7K,
70 or 7?
7,000.
Oh, that is nice. That is a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
I love it. And then you'll get even more once you list it and you get that commission off of that. That's amazing. And how did you get in contact with this buyer? Everyone wonders how to get in contact with cash buyers. How did you meet this gentleman?
I met him through a mutual friend, um, who's also my partner, who's also a Navy veteran, and he met him because their kids attend the same school.
Okay.
So they've kind of been hanging out, and this cash buyer, he's also a real estate agent, coincidentally, and but his main focus is fixing and flipping and working as an investor. So
I mean, that's great. I love that you're building that relationship with him, because then like future deals that come up, like the ones you're nurturing right now, can
yeah.
also be something that he can look to. Two questions I want to ask. When you called, was it recently after the gentleman had passed?
No, it had been about 6 months. The
Okay.
property had been vacant for a while, probably longer than that, because he was in, I believe, hospice care, and that's where or an assisted living facility, and that's where he passed, not in the property. So
How
it had
would you
been vacant.
say, going, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how did you approach that? Because like that can be a very awkward thing when it's like, oh no, he died. And it's like, okay, for those who are getting in this and calling, how did you approach that to make it a more comfortable situation? Because I think that makes some people feel uncomfortable of like, well, I don't want them to feel like I'm poaching for the house. You're wanting to help them. So how did you approach that?
Well, for this situation, I didn't know until I met with his granddaughter, who was she was in charge of the trust. So when I met her that Sunday morning at 7 a.m., she explained to me why the property and why she had interest in selling. It was her grandfather's who had
Got it.
passed 6 months ago. So
Okay. All right. And do you mainly do your form of reach out to your leads? Is it mainly just cold calling? Do you mail market? Do you text?
initially when I started with DealMachine, I was just sending I would just run a campaign and send it to the leads that I thought were the most likely to sell, and also call them. Until recently, I think this will be my fourth week where I hired some virtual assistants, and they dial for me 12. They dial 6 hours each for a
Okay.
total of 12 hours a day, at $2 an hour.
That's really awesome. You're already scaling. Like you got callers on there. And
Yeah.
how did you recruit your VAs?
It's funny. I was a member of a Facebook group, and wholesalers and investors, cash buyers, you name it. And a guy here in Southern California say, "Hey, I have these virtual assistants. I no longer have a need for them. There's two of them. Their rate is $2 an hour. Is anyone interested?" And I was the only one that said yes. And I figured it was too good for me to pass up being $2 an hour. I said it's worth taking taking advantage of this opportunity, and seeing where it could take me. And they've given me several warm leads per week, and it's just that nurturing process, following up, talking to the sellers, and waiting for when they're ready to pull the trigger. And I told them, I tell each and every one of them, I'm ready when you are. And if you have competitors, I'll match their offer if the numbers make sense for us to do that. And so we're not trying to push you out of your home or push your tenants out of your home. We want to do it when you're comfortable and you're ready. So that's usually what I tell them. And then it's just me just constantly following up. I have another seller who, she's 88 years old. She has 3 properties she wants to sell. And it's just a difficult time getting in touch with her daughter because she wants her daughter to do the negotiation. So just waiting. It's just nurturing and constantly following up. And
Patience.
yes.
That's a huge thing, I feel like. And I love that you're nurturing all of them. And that's like the most important thing because, they know that you're not there just to take money. And like you said, to take their house, you're there to help them. So I had another question and I didn't write. Oh, how do you just go off of driving for dollars leads? Do you pull lists and how many leads are you putting in driving for dollars every week?
When I first started, I was pulling a lot of leads driving for dollars, but then I noticed that I wasn't able to spend as much time making phone calls while doing that. So I kind of scaled back on driving for dollars a little bit so that I could make phone calls. And now I'm kind of finding my pace where I can, with the help of the VAs, it allows me more time to drive for dollars. And I still
Mhm.
call when I'm not doing that. So I'll either drive for dollars virtually or I'll get in my vehicle and drive around. Sometimes I can drive for dollars. Yesterday I drove and I only maybe an hour and a half, and I think I got 130 homes. But there's another time I drove for about 3 hours and I think I got close to 300 homes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it just depends on how I'm feeling that morning because I like to start in the morning, so that I don't have to deal with a lot of traffic in neighborhoods, people coming home from work, and because you know how it is when you're driving for dollars, you have someone behind you, and you're just creeping along, going 5 miles an hour, trying to get the address and click on the home on the DealMachine app. So
I swear, I was talking to a gentleman and he's like, I could be on a road for 5 minutes, no one's behind me. But the minute I want to pin a property on DealMachine, there's a car behind me.
yes,
And I'm like, I feel like it's that, or you're on, because now that you are constantly looking for them, it's like you're on the busiest street where you can't stop. And there it is. And you have to I've gone so far as to putting my hazard lights on and being like,
yes.
go around me, go around me. What would I always like to ask this, for someone who's starting out in, real estate investing, what is one piece of advice you would give them that you wish you would have known going into it?
I think you just touched on it a minute or two ago. You got to have patience. It's it's not always something. I know there are stories of people out there, they drove for dollars, or they made their first set of phone calls and they got a deal right away, but that's rare. That's an anomaly, I think. So I think having patience is key. Um, with DealMachine, I've had deals where I've written offers and I've lost out because the numbers just didn't make sense for my cash buyer.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a case where I was running a campaign and a homeowner called me from my car, the postcard that I sent, and we set up a meeting. And when we arrived, he already had two other potential buyers there. So it didn't make sense. He ended up selling that property closer to a retail value. So that's why it didn't work out. And, I had several fire damage properties that I pursued, and sellers were located out of state and just wasn't able to put the deal together. I've had several vacant properties that I've tried pursuing, and then the pandemic kind of slowed things down. The seller got sick, and then when she was ready to, start discussing and negotiating again, she had spoken with another real estate agent, and he had someone else who was interested. So I had to compete at that point. So it just made the numbers drive up, and then it didn't make any sense. So we didn't get that deal. So patience is a big thing in nurturing those leads when you have to, because it's not going to happen right away. They're not going to be like the deal that I got ready to allow me to view the home and then they're ready to, get under contract immediately. That it doesn't always happen that way.
I love that thank you for being so transparent with that, because I do think that, so we do have a lot of great people who do get their deal really early, but like me personally, I've had all my deals fall through for
Yeah.
reasons similar to yours.
Yes.
And I think that it shows that, because that can get you really down fast, where it's like, you're this close and
Yeah.
then it just keeps falling through. What would you, I know you said patience, but like what helps you through that? Like do you just have that mentality, or do you have to kind of like give yourself a pep talk, or what helps refresh you to be like, keep pushing forward?
It's a little bit of all of that. I have to give myself a pep talk. I kind of put myself in a certain mental state to before I make calls and get prepared, because you're going to hear a ton of no's before you get that yes
Yeah.
or any yes. Um, I remove myself from my environment some days. I'll go take a walk for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then I come back, and just listening to others who've been down this road, it lets me know that it happens.
Yeah.
It's not the process, but it's difficult to do. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, it's the persistence is so key for that. And I just love that, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to resonate with that. And this is going to help a lot of people to know that, if you keep pushing through, you'll get to that deal. What would you say, how many leads would you say you had in before you got this deal, like got your first deal with DealMachine?
Um, well over 2,000.
Okay. I
Yeah.
wonder, only because I know that in the West Coast market, we say 300, but like we've now bumped it up for especially like markets like yourself, where you have to have like triple the 4 times the amount of leads in like,
Yeah.
instead of like a Midwest city. Um, but also you guys, the prices are higher over there, and
Yeah.
um, you're in a whole different ball game over there. But
Yeah.
that's like pretty on target for what we say and what I've heard from people. It's like usually between like the 1,500 to 2,000 range that they have to like get in before they get an actual deal. So
Yes.
I do want to also commend you on the fact that even though you have 2 VAs calling, and I want everyone to hear this, like this gentleman is still calling people Like you could easily say, oh, I have two VAs that are calling. I don't need to call anymore, but you still do it. So bravo to you, like for still doing that. And because that isn't an easy thing to do like all the time.
No, no, it's not. But I found myself, the more and more I've made calls, the more and more I become comfortable speaking to people, and I've seen a significant amount of growth with myself, because I was never really truly comfortable making phone calls, especially cold calls. Warm calls, it's a different ball game. Cold calls, it's different because you're going to get the angry person, the person that does not speak the same language as you. You're going to get the relative. You're going to get all of that, and you just have to push through until you get that person that's going to tell you yes.
Yeah. And I'm already like thinking of what people would be asking you right now. So I'm trying to get them in my head. But what kind of script do you use when you call? Do you use a script at all, or do you like what's your wording?
Brent Daniels has a script. I think I use something. I use his, and I might have tweaked it a little bit more to fit me, but it's pretty much his. So I'll basically, so I'll call, go ring ring, hello, hello, is this Mrs. Knack? And then they'll say yes, and I say, hey, my name is Mike Harris. I'm an acquisition specialist, or I might say, I'm a retired Navy vet, and I'm looking to buy homes in your neighborhood. I'm sorry that this call was out of the blue, but I noticed you had a at 123 Candy Cane Lane. I noticed that it was vacant. By any chance, have you and your family had any selling? So I'll do that. And
That was perfect. That's so like it's so soft, but yet very like to the point. Like I love that. Are you a TTP member?
I am not. I am not.
Well, you
I
just did
should
a great deed to call out Brent Daniels on there. I'll make sure that people know where to find him because he does great content, and I love how organic it sounds. It's
yeah,
not so it's a script, but it's not sounding so scripted.
yeah, yeah. And another script that I might use is I might say, Mr. Seller, I rather, instead of a bunch of postcards that you're going to throw in the mail, I figured it'd be make sense for me to just reach out to you on the phone and give you a call and see really what you were thinking, if you guys have had any thoughts of selling and will consider a cash offer on your home. And then I just pause and let them speak. And
Pausing's
I,
huge.
yeah, yeah,
Pausing is huge. When I did cold calls, I remember in our sales school, it was always like talk slow and have pauses. And I was like, that sounds so ridiculous, like and awkward as all get out. But
yes,
like it gives them time to like one, they hear you, and also it's like you sound calmer, I guess, if you talk
yes.
slower.
Yeah, they can process what you're thinking or what you've said to them. So
Yeah, it's so crazy. That's amazing. I love so how many leads did you say you're nurturing now? You named like four or five that you're
yeah, I think I
nurturing?
have about six total. No, I have to check, but it's between 6 and 8. And I want to say more than half of those are leads that my VAs turned over to me as warm leads. So
Love it. I would love to connect more on, after you do some more deals and have more stuff you would like to share with others on what you've learned. I would love to connect and keep in touch if that's okay with you.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I just got a lead yesterday. My VA, Spanish speaking gentleman, he prefers a Spanish speaker, so I turned him over to my cash buyer who speaks Spanish. So he went to preview the property yesterday. So I'll be following up today to see if that's going to become something good for us. At a minimum, I think it's going to become a referral fee, because I think he wants to sell it on the retail market. So
Yeah. Well, that's good. You still are helping someone out, and that always comes back tenfold. So that's amazing. I want to be very cautious and respectful of your time, but I'd love to send you some DealMachine swag. Would you like a hat or a shirt?
Yes.
Which
A
one?
shirt would be great.
Shirt. Okay. I am going to send you a link after you send me an awesome photo of yourself to put on the thumbnail.
Okay.
And you just follow the link, put the shirt in the cart, and it'll comp it all out at the end. And then you can tag us on social media if you want to, wearing the shirt. I
Will
mean,
do.
just an idea.
Yes.
But thank you so much for sharing your story. And you have my email, so feel free to reach out if you need anything at all moving forward.
Definitely. Thank you, Elise.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a good week.
You too. Bye.